Hi Sagittarius, I hope you're doing well. We're going to get right into your reading. I'm going to pull an overall energy and then clarify with the tarot, of course. Faith in the process. This is super beautiful. So notice how she's in that wagon. This is a reminder that you are being led, you're being pulled. There are signs and symbols available for you to follow and to see. This is number 32, which reduces to a 5. A 5 is generally the challenge, the current challenge, and that's exactly what I was asking for. So here, Spirit really wants to talk about and lead you out of this challenge. There's these two birds here as well. There may be something about Spirit sending you messages through animals, through nature. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Faith in the process. Faith in the process in mysticism is also known as Shraddha. To have faith, to have active faith, to keep walking as if the path emerges with each step. Okay, so let's clarify this a little bit. What about this faith in the process? 9 of Swords. Well, you're definitely a bit caught up in your head about it. So this really just speaks to what I was just saying at the same time. Because see here, her eyes are closed and her thumbs are touching Ajna Chakra. That's the third eye between the eyebrows. Spirit is asking you to get out of the head space about it and into the heart space about it, to move forward with active faith instead of being bound by these worries. Remember, worries are often about things in the future. The Hermit. So there's a good chance that you might have withdrawn. And the problem, this is what I'm seeing. Wow, this is interesting. So what I'm seeing is because you're worried about the unfoldment of either this project, this job, this relationship, this family structure, it's like you've stopped moving. And without your active participation, Spirit isn't able to help this situation unfold. Okay, what else about this faith in the process? The 3 of Cups and the High Priestess. You know, the High Priestess practices Mauna. Mauna is non-speaking. So the High Priestess takes the information in and makes decision from her own intuition, from her own wisdom. Let's get one more on this. Spirit wants you to move forward in joy. Yeah, and listen. So with the 9 of Wands, your worry and your mental state is valid. It's valid because of the challenges that you've been through in the past. And that's how worry and anxiety come up. We go through things in the past. We don't fully process them, moving them from one part of the brain to the other, and then we begin to expect them. That can make us have some kind of paralysis as far as not moving forward in life because our expectations in the past, you know, have been that of worry and of trauma. In this case here, it's just showing that because of all the actual difficulties, they're not perceived, they're real difficulties that you've been through. That's why you have this mindset. But Spirit's asking you more so to stay on the realm of contentment in the present moment, 444 on the clock, of joy, of small joys. What are the things that bring you joy that you can control? You know, multitasking not only is not extremely beneficial in a productive area of your life, but not only that, but you can't think two things at once. You can't feel two things at once. So Spirit's asking you to participate in things that bring you joy. Okay, I'm being told to move on. I was getting stuck there a little bit. Sorry about that. We're going to go to what might be hidden. What don't you see? Often this is something that's working in the background in your favor, but we'll see what comes out. What do you not see? Balance. First of all, balance. That's what I'm getting here. It's like balance out this challenge in the mind that's causing you to not move forward with joy that will help to ignite the energy moving up to the higher stages of consciousness, that of joy, that of divine insight, co-creation with Spirit. What you don't see is that that is truly your freedom. Your freedom truly comes when you move your mindset. But Spirit really wants you to know that it's valid. It's valid to think that way, but Spirit doesn't want you to expect the worst. Now, it's not clear to me, Seven of Wands. It's like you're being really defensive about that stance, though. You know, this is what I'm feeling. And I have a little bit of this in me, and this is probably why I recognize it. But it's almost better to just expect shit to go down, things not to be amazing. So at least you're not like let down. At least it's like you're preparing for the worst here. But Spirit's really asking you not to do that. Okay, one note, I'm being told to move on again. Well, your guides are being very succinct and aware of this issue, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so let's see. What can you learn in this process then? Now, it does say faith. You're supposed to learn active faith. What can be learned in this process? Enlightenment and opportunity. Isn't that interesting? Opportunity. That has something to do with getting what you expect. Do you see what I mean? I'm getting this feeling of keeping your mind open, because it's almost like you don't feel that you deserve ease, that you don't feel like you deserve these breaks, these opportunities. And in some way you can start to call that in for yourself, the challenges that you expect as a defense mechanism. So Spirit's asking you not to do that. Interesting. We're going to clarify the enlightenment with this self-made deck. That's kind of not what I was expecting, but maybe that's part of it. You're expecting the challenge, and often the challenge comes. Emotionality versus feeling. Oh my gosh. Okay, Sagittarius, this is killer. What I was explaining early on was that when you think of your challenges of the past that are valid and that sucked, no question, when you project them into the future, you're trapped in a state of emotionality. The card that came out, what is challenging your enlightenment, or you could say your ability to move from the lower stages of consciousness to the higher stages of consciousness, is emotionality versus feeling. This is the difference. When you think of the past and you project that same challenge into the future, you're stuck in emotionality. Feelings are when something is true and happening now. Feelings are in the present. Feelings are something we can work with. Emotionality keeps us trapped. And it seems like what you once used to help control your emotionality is now creating emotionality. Interesting. Okay, we're going to move on. So where can you find support? Where can support be found? Let's see. The heart of sky. Ooh, the hummingbird on the bottom. That's interesting. I did a reading yesterday about somebody that was worried about their children, that the hummingbird came up for me. It was there in the reading. So if you have a worry, you might go ahead and look for that, because there might be a message there for you. The heart of sky is basically the difference between being in this joy and celebration and being in the place of your past wounds, which again are valid, but we want to be careful to not call them back in. So where you can find support is anything that brings you joy from just the act of it. And I'm hearing those things are never silly. It gives me a bit of a feeling like I do with, let's say, with cards. Like I have certain special interests that not everybody cares about. But I will tell you, I love these. I love them like a part of my family. And they bring me so much joy. More joy than a vacation could or a brand new car could. They bring me this joy from the center of my heart. And that is what this card is asking you to find. So it almost is always in something very simple. So look for that joy so you can remember what that celebration feels like, more than being locked in the thought process of all the things that you have been through and expecting that to continue, because it doesn't have to. Where else can we find support, Spirit? I'm hearing the Muppets theme song, and I have no other information on that at all. But maybe, maybe it's something you really love, or something you used to love, or, oh, now that's interesting, because there was something about Jim Henson, is that right? You can always correct me down below. But anyways, people used to think that his art was very childish and very silly, and he kind of was made fun of for a long time until it became something magnificent. So anyways, I keep hearing that theme song, if that means something for you. Now this is interesting, because the Five of Wands, which is often a challenge, but what a lot of people don't know about the Five of Wands, it doesn't always mean conflict. It can mean why isn't the word coming to me? Training. It can mean, let's say you are training in races. I used to get this card a lot when I was practicing Ashtanga Yoga, the first, second, and third series. And it came up a lot because I was very disciplined in honing my craft and getting better and better. And it was very important to me, and it really changed who I was. So there's something about honing a craft, something that calls to your heart. And it might be within a group. Now you can take the practice of yoga, for instance. It's within a group, but it's an individual experience. And that's what this feels like a little bit. But this could be anything. Okay, let's see if there is any current advice. And then we are going to, oh, this is interesting. And then we'll just see if there's anything you should let go of, which I don't normally do, but Spirit's asking me to. Okay, so here's your advice, is to begin. To begin whatever this is. It feels like a singular activity, but within a group. I'm not sure what that means. If you have any idea, you can fill me in down below. That would be exciting. And then finally, is there something that you can improve upon or let go of? This is interesting. A chakra card. So we'll see how this comes out. This is a really beautiful reading Spirit is pushing you to expect more, not out of yourself, for yourself. Does that make sense? And Spirit is asking you to leave a little room in your plans for Spirit to intervene, because what Spirit is dreaming for you is so much more magnificent than your limited view of yourself. The base chakra came up. The base chakra is talking about safety and security. It's also talking about early childhood wounds. I'm going to tell you this because I'm being guided to, but just understand that the first chakra is formed in utero. That means some of the challenges that you have karmically, some of the thought forms that you have, maybe even some tendencies to move toward anxiety or worry, are inherited. Those were inherited in the first chakra when you were in utero, and so you can't always know where they come from. Allow yourself to move forward from that. The first chakra also talks about pride and ego, and also your standards in life, what you expect. So Spirit is asking you to expect more. Not out of yourself, but out of what you deserve. You are so deserving. I hope this was helpful. Love y'all.